Anime and manga. Some only watch the anime because there can be much more feelings conveyed by voice, OSTs, given time and thus better timing and thus better effect, and you can simply also much better cheer along. Which is also true. Others prefer only the manga. There are no mistakes that get on your nerves, the manga can be more brutal, you have your own pace, and you can read it absolutely anywhere. And others simply see the advantages in both and therefore treat themselves with both. That there are also differences in content between manga and anime is probably clear to everyone. The manga likes it a little bit more brutal and sometimes shows scenes completely different. But that they have to completely exaggerate in Yu-Gi-Oh! You will see right here and now. Oh, and I'm not talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0, but the regular Yu-Gi-Oh! Series with the normal card game. Anime. Especially because it was already censored on American television. When Bandit Keith lost to Joey in Duelist Kingdom, he was taken away. But he somehow managed to break free and get to Pegasus with an admittedly pretty impressive jump, only to threaten him with his fingers. Well, actually with a gun, but that would just be way too brutal. If that's already too brutal, then we'll just have a look at the manga now.
Manga.
Actually the same scenario. The moves in the duels are actually pretty much the same in the manga and in the anime. The big difference here, however, is that Bandit Keith didn't jump to Pegasus, but he came after him when he was walking down a hallway. Bandit Keith threatens Pegasus with a knife here and wanted the prize money. First of all, very stupid that he shows up there with a knife, while he should realize that Pegasus guards should have guns. And secondly, Pegasus comes up with something much thicker than them just shooting him. Pegasus turned Bandit Keith's right hand into a pistol, then made it go to his head and then pulled the trigger. Time for a duel? No, not with Pegasus! Time for a fucking
Execution.
what the fuck? Anime. As you know, Yugi and Pegasus had a duel on VHS and the TV. The technology, like I always say, I just can't keep up with it. Well, after time ran out, Pegasus took the soul of Grandpa Muto to force Yugi to participate in the Duelist Kingdom tournament. Pegasus trapped the soul of Grandpa Muto in a card, just like he did with Mokuba and said to Kaiba afterwards.
Manga.
Again, pretty much the same scenario as in the manga. Duel between Yugi and Pegasus over the TV, only here not everyone else around has stopped in time, but can follow the duel. At the end, time runs out again just before Pegasus would have lost, and Pegasus indulges in Grandpa Muto's soul as leverage. The difference is that the soul is not locked into a card and apparently just doesn't notice anything during the time. Here, the soul is locked into the VHS cassette. Yugi then puts it into a portable VHS player or something, I don't know, and then drags his grandfather along with him the whole time. They can talk and do all kinds of things. He's just on TV. So Grandpa Muto was kind of Mega Man. Anime. The next scenario is again familiar to everyone. Mokuba gives Yugi the star chips after the duel. Everything is actually very regular, but in the process they get grabbed, and because they thought they were just doing it outside of the duel, which would be illegal, but it's not because Yugi earned them in the duel, Yugi has to play against a fake Kaiba. This fake Kaiba looks confusingly similar to Kaiba and even has Kaiba's deck. Only in the middle of the duel, his blue eyes didn't feel like it anymore and just melts. This caused Kaiba's body to burst open and, surprise surprise, it's not Kaiba at all, but a fat bastard. Yugi wins here exactly the same way as it will happen in the manga, except that there is a mind crush at the end and then the fat bastard is suddenly gone.
Manga.
In the manga it's just so fucking weird and also a bit cringe admittedly. You may be thinking to yourself, oh, come on, it can't be that bad. It's a fucking doll with a puppeteer. Again, the exact same scenario. Mokuba loses to Yugi, they get caught, so Yugi has to duel someone unknown. This one bodyguard guy points at the duelist and Yugi then sees at first glance, seriously, that this is Kaiba. So he first sees the little doll, thinks that's Kaiba, and doesn't see that Kaiba has gotten a little small and there's a puppeteer behind him. The puppet is supposed to disturb Yugi, to upset him, and thus he is supposed to become distracted. I think I would just piss myself laughing. Also in this duel, a Blue Eyes didn't execute an attack. But not because he just melted because Seto Kaiba did something on the PC, but because he simply didn't want it anymore. The Blue Eyes had no desire to attack Yugi and end the duel. It simply disappeared shortly before the attack because Kaiba woke up from his state of unconsciousness after the duel against Yugi, and the cards finally choose the duelist and not the duelist the cards. And so there was a bond between the Blue Eyes and Kaiba, and when Kaiba woke up again, the Blue Eyes hurt him somehow. Or who knows? Mokuba first says that the Blue Eyes doesn't listen to him, although he then plays another Blue Eyes and then this Blue Eyes listens to him. Again, very strange. The duel is still pretty much the same, except that Yugi doesn't just give a mind crush at the end, but Yugi makes him think he's a little doll. Anime. As you know, Pegasus wanted to capture Kaiba in Duelist Kingdom. For that, few guards from Pegasus come armed with loaded fingers. Yeah, into Kaiba's room and want to kidnap him or something. He then kicks a chair at them, just jumps out of the window, forgetting his most prized possession, his stack. He goes to a bunker and from there he just watches everybody and then he's just Hacker Man and stuff.
Manga.
After Kaiba wakes up from a coma, he flies to Duelist Kingdom. Pegasus has the bodyguard and pilot set up to kill Kaiba in flight so that Pegasus and the Big Five can take over Kaiba Corporation. But during the flight, Kaiba finds out, which the bodyguard doesn't like. So he takes out his gun and tries to kill Kaiba directly. Kaiba, the mastermind, however, sticks a card into the gun, which is why the shot is not triggered, and pulls the gun from him and, of course, breaks his finger in the process. Now with gun he throws the two out of the helicopter, which now probably die in the sea. Then he arrives on the island, storms the building of Pegasus and makes full terror and so on. Anime. Magic is cool! Arkaina is a very good wizard in Yu-Gi-Oh! He is... no, he was one of the best. But one day a magic trick went wrong and his face was ruined, so his girlfriend Catherine left him. After the duel against Yugi turned out to be a failure, Marek speaks out of him and then he faints and Yugi catches the poor lunatic.
Manga.
Well, friends, you can already guess, in the manga things get a little darker. After Arkaina or Pandora lost the duel, Marek looks deep into his mind. Very deep. He sees that he already wanted to take his own life twice. The first time after his mother died, and the second time when his beloved girlfriend unfortunately died during a magic trick. Now Marek wants to bring up these memories in him again, and that's stronger than ever, so that when he wakes up again, he gets such strong suicidal thoughts that he will kill himself. And Yugi just lets him slap on the floor here. And if you think that Arkaina is an absolute insane wizard, then you should first see Bibi Blocksberg in the Second World War.
Ene mene 1, 2, 3, mit Hiroshima ist's vorbei. Ene mene grüner Spaten, jetzt verglühen die Asiaten. Hex, hex!
A little too much black humor. Okay. Anime. After Pegasus has lost the duel against Yugi, he goes to his room, keeps his promise to release the souls again, and then Baka Bakura arrives. Then the two engage in a Millennium Ray fight? What the fuck? And then Bakura takes a Millennium Eye. Pegasus is carried away and can then continue to be a billionaire, and all is well.
Manga.
Here it's only minimally more brutal. I think you notice as good as no difference. After the duel against Yugi, Pegasus immediately keeps his promise and everyone leaves. Then it seems that Bakura and Pegasus somehow met at the duel table or something. Anyway, Bakura tears out Pegasus' eye. Pegasus is sitting on the chair dying with blood in his face, and the fucking psycho Bakura is licking his eye as he was about to get the fuck out of there and pretends that this is the most normal thing in the world. So now he can't spend his billions here in the manga because he died here. Bakura just killed him here, zapped up his eye and then...
Schönen Abend noch, ja?
Wünsche ich Ihnen auch.
Wohl schaffen, ne?
Anime. Everyone still knows him, I think. In the anime, he got into position and the rarity hunters let Marek know that he was in position. In total, he stood there for 3 hours without moving.
Manga.
In the manga, the crack did bang a little harder on Kuririn than I thought. Or Marek banged a bit more. Who knows? Because Marek left him stand in the middle of the city for 2 whole days, completely without him even moving minimally. He just stood around like that the whole time for 2 days. Anime. In the anime, there is no further elaboration on who this Kuririn on crack actually is. Here, he's just some random guy without even getting a background story.
Manga.
In the manga, he was actually elaborated on a bit. Although not really much more, but we know something from his past. Namely, Kuririn has killed his parents in the past, and because of that he has felt a great guilt. His guilt is supposed to have been so strong that he closed off his consciousness for the most part, which is why Marek was able to take him over super easily by talking in his head and just pretending to be a god. Of course, that explains why Kuririn started taking crack. Oh man, what has only become of our sea fighter? Sad. That's it again with this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope to see you again next time, so take care my friends.